when that is converted into sound, that data is converted into sound, and then it's played back, the body subconsciously remembers this. It goes, well, wait a sec, I know that pattern, I remember it. And when it gets played long enough, it usually needs to be like what we find with most of our users is about 45 minutes to 3 hours. It entrains the body back into that state. Now, scientist Jacques Benveniste did some really great research in France on the signaling of biological cells. And what he claimed and found, published, was that much of the intracellular communication that occurs is within the audio hearing range. So there's a lot of signaling going on in your body between cells as they communicate with each other that are roughly between 18 to 20,000 hertz. And so whenever you go through a given state, internally, biologically, physically, mentally, emotionally, you will have these cascades, these symphonic patterns of electromagnetism going all throughout your body rhythmically, and the cells will inherently know what a given song is. You could convert their signaling into a kind of acoustic waveform. And so if I extrapolate from Benveniste's work and I say, okay, so if cells know certain songs, and these songs are like songs of attitude or health or state, what happens if you not trick the cells, but what happens if you, let's say that you have a really crappy day and you're, say, feeling down emotionally, or your body is not healing from an injury fast enough, or you're depressed, then what is the song that the cells are singing, and how can you get them to go into another state? Well, what we do is we play the frequencies back to them, and they get entrained to it, they get moving to that frequency, and then there's a shift, and the body begins to remember, oh yeah. There's a lot of aspects of these frequencies that are experimental, and I'm not making any medical claims. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't diagnose or treat anything. Any claims that are made, I let the users make the claims. We've got hundreds of testimonials from people that are wowed by this stuff, and I'm just happy to let them make the claims for me. What I would suggest, is probably going on here, is that I've figured out a way to map psychosomatic responses. So if there was such a thing as like a silver bullet for psychosomatic medicine, this might be it, because it may be that these sound frequencies are acoustic representations of psychosomatic states. But there's one other thing too, for those of you that are involved in things like Rife frequency research. These frequencies are very different from that, and I want to also say that these are not woo-woo, maybe I'll feel good, I'll spend X number of dollars and I might feel happier. No, what we get are some pretty dramatic, concrete, intense, profound results that border on the staggering. Different from Rife frequencies in that when we take a look at a Rife frequency, which I think Rife's work is fantastic, Rife frequency is usually a derivative of the dimensions or add dimension of a pathogenic organism, which is converted, say, from length to frequency, or it represents, or it's based on the mortality oscillatory rate, where we have a certain rate of overall oscillation of the organism across time. So what's different about these frequencies is that they are actually, when you listen to them, they're actually maps. They're not just little sounds or songs. You're actually hearing, or you're experiencing the equivalent of a hypergeometric model or map of an event or process or object. And what I mean by that is that when you experience something in consciousness, you're actually having a multi-dimensional experience that would be like akin to a geometric form. So if you feel happy or you feel, lucky or whatever, on a certain plane of reality, tangible plane of reality, if we could view it, we would actually see intersecting your body what would look like a lattice work. Imagine a soccer ball, maybe a soccer ball that's somewhat deformable or shapeable, would have nodal points and planes and struts, this kind of thing. So when you have these kinds of experiences, there is a very specific, and I don't use the term loosely or in an exaggerating way, I mean there is literally a hyperdimensional geometry that's occurring inside and around you that's related to the event you're going through. And so each frequency is actually a mapping of this object moving through time-space and in its own plane. So every time you hear a beep or a sound, that actually represents the motion of the object of your experience across this plane. So that would be like maybe a vertex point, or a part of the plane is like touching a certain part of the plane and it's moving. So that's the difference. You're actually listening to the event